Hello, I'm Margaret Seconded, and welcome to my feng shui session on tips to site selection. Before we venture out to find our next home, or if you are a new home buyer, you would want to do your homework. You would, of course, like to do an inspection of the location and the houses that you are contemplating on buying. Well, in feng shui, we need to be aware of some of the exterior environment and features that can affect the overall well-being of the residents of the properties. So, in this short presentation, we will look at some of these obvious and not so obvious features, landmarks, or structures that can affect us negatively. So before we venture out to find our next home, or if you're a new home buyer, let's do our homework. Let's begin with our first slide. We get to the specifics, and here are some of the things that when we're doing a feng shui analysis or audit, practitioner is going to be looking out for. These are some of the factors, well, these are four of the factors in a feng shui audit and analysis. So number one, a practitioner of feng shui or classical feng shui will actually look at the environment. He will ask the question of what's in the vicinity. Are there buildings, tall buildings that would actually be the mountains? Are there waterways or water features like rivers or a big fountain or something like that that would actually be close by to the properties that you are contemplating on buying? Second would be the building itself. We look at the building and the house and look at its structure, how it's shaped. Is it regular in shape, or are there missing corners, or some of the sectors are actually missing, or it's built in such a way that it's irregular. The third factor that we actually look at is the time factor. So we ask the question when the house was built. Was it built just last year? Was it built 10 years ago, 20 years ago? And was it built at the right time? Which means, was it built when the energies are still intact, or has its luck run out? Okay. Now, there's also a fourth factor, and this has to do with the residents, the occupants, you. Is it in the right direction, suitable to you and your family members? So this would be if all the rooms in the house that you're looking at, are they in the right location wherein you, the occupants or the residents, would benefit from its energy? So are they in the right location that's suitable for you and your family members? So these are actually, of course, based on your natal charts. So these are the four factors that a feng shui practitioner will actually look for when he's doing an feng shui audit or analysis. Now, today we will just focus on number one, the environment, the location, and the landscape. As you can see here in this slide, what is in the surrounding areas of the property and what is uh, there in the environment that our modern society, in our structural environment that we live in, what are the features that we should be on the lookout for? And here are some of the visible features that anyone can spot on their own. So let's go to our first slide. As you can see here, the photo sent out a clear message of some of the potential negative energies that can be emitted by structures such as the hydro poles. So these are what we call negative energies. They are invisible to eyes, but they do send out some of the sha qi, or the negative energy. So anybody or anyone close by can be affected. So hydro poles, microwave poles, telephone poles do emit invisible negative energies that actually can affect our overall well-being. Now let's go to another slide that will actually show this in context. These are some of the properties, as you can see here. Some of the properties are so close to this Sa Qi. So these hydropoles that are in the vicinity. Not only are there negative energies being emitted in feng shui, uh, you know, speaking, the electromagnetic field sent up by these hydropoles are also negative energies. They are invisible, but they do affect the occupants or residents of the houses that are, that are close to them. So this is something that you have to kind of watch out and avoid. These are outside exterior structures that you probably have no ability to change. So the exterior environment is a very important factor in our consideration on finding the right house with the best feng shui. Let's go to our next slide. And this is the very common T or Y junction that occurs when you live in a subdivision or that, in any modern environment and municipal planning. We do have houses that are sometimes in the, in the area of a Y or a T junction. Now, you would want to select a house in this kind of situation because of the energy that's coming from the road. As you can see here, the road has an energy, and usually the energy is negative. And if you are living in one of these houses, you are actually in the direct line of this negative energy. Sometimes you do not have too much of a recourse as to prevent the sha qi coming towards you and your main door or towards your property. So as much as possible, if you do have other options or other properties that you can look at, let's best avoid this type of houses that have this kind of energies. Let's go to another slide here. We have the Crescent Living. So we do have houses that are sort of, in a crescent. As you can see here, you have all these houses that are around the curve of this road, the crescent, and you also have the house that is actually inside the crescent or that is hugged by the road. Now, if you were to, looking at a new subdivision where the opportunity to select some of the houses that are still unoccupied, then it's as much a better preference to just go for the houses that are actually inside the crescent or being hugged by the road, by the crescent itself. So you see, this house would be a better, this house would be a better choice. So let's go to the next slide. Flyovers. This is a house that's situated in probably a busy highway. So when you have a house like this, it is actually in close proximity to some of the negative energy that are coming over from the highways here, the flyovers. So you can quite understand that if there was an accident in this area, particularly in this area, or it's so close to this particular house, the chances of the house being a target is very, very high. So any cars that's doing passing along this road and turning at extreme speed can probably create an accident. And the house here is probably one of the primary targets of uh, any oncoming cars that do not, that has an accident in that vicinity, in that area. So when you're looking at a house and if it's located in this kind of situation, please just avoid them, because there is really no way that you can actually move this highway or this flyover. So it's better that you just avoid the negative chi that's going to be coming at you if you live in this particular house. So let's go to another slide. This is a dead-end street. Remember that we are focusing on the flow of qi when we're looking at these properties, or specifically when we're looking at these photos just now. How the flow of the energy from the streets or any structures nearby, whether they be positive or negative, can affect the potential health and well-being of the residents, or if you are living in one of these particular houses and in some of these particular situations. So folks, now let's look at this dead-end street. Now when you're living in one of these houses, or one of the houses that are going to be built along this type of street, then you're also looking at the fact that the energy that's going into a dead-end street does not really have anywhere to go. As the street name says so itself, it's a dead end. There's no exit. So it would be best, if you are looking for a house, to have the option of another way out in case of emergency or roadworks. Just can you imagine if this area here would actually be blocked off because they're digging a hole or they're doing an emergency work, and obviously you will not be able to get out without having difficulty on doing so. So if there was another exit or another road, then it would be the best way. You would like to give yourself the options of an alternative. So again, folks, when you're looking at properties for yourself or for your family members or even for your clients, if you're in the real estate business, you'll be looking at it with some of this feng shui perspective, or what we call feng shui eyes now, and do avoid some of this uh, kind of situation wherein it will be quite difficult for you to do anything about it. So that is also the reason why we also say in feng shui that the exterior environment is very important. Any structures, any waterways that is in the close proximity of your home will be very, very difficult to change or to move. It is not as easy as doing the interior design or rearranging your furnitures inside your home. So again, folks, I hope that this short seminar will be able to help you as you go out and as you do your homework. Keep some of these rules in mind, and I hope they will be able to help you in finding the right house or the best house with the best feng shui out there. Again, we will be doing a few other seminars or webinars in the near future, and something like a feng shui a feng shui seminar coming up is taking the directions. You can learn the difference between the facing of the property and versus the facing of the door. So hope you will join us in our upcoming presentations, and check our website or my blog regularly, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and get all these tips that we will be showing to you in the future. So thank you, and have a good day. Bye bye now.